Hello, lovely ladies. It is Anita with Better Love Movement. I am back again, and I am relegated today to making a video in my car, which sometimes that happens when I kind of have to do a lot of things all at the same time. It is one of those days. I've just got a lot going on. And it is allergy season here in Virginia, and when I tell you, my eyes will not stop watering. I have been using these allergy eye drops. I've been taking allergy medicine, and my eyes just will not stop watering. So if you see me blinking, it's because my eyes will not stop watering. And yes, I am driving, and I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to talk to you all while I'm driving, just like I would if you were sitting right here in the car with me. I'm not, unless I'm stopped, I'm not going to look that way. But I wanted to just briefly make this video and talk to you a little bit today about when relationships end, and a little bit about why it's so hard, and what we need to do to kind of move through that, right? Relationships ending. What do we normally think when a relationship ends? We normally, we judge ourselves and the other person. We have all these judgments, and we say we failed, right? We say we failed, the relationship failed, when really the relationship ended. And there are lots of reasons, lots of great reasons why relationships do end and should end. Lots of good reasons. So we've got to start reframing this whole thing, right? Instead of adding all this judgment, or instead of taking on other people's judgments, or these societal things that say, when marriages end, it failed, or when relationships end, we failed. We wasted our time. I mean, I was really guilty of that one. I believe that every relationship that did not end in marriage was a waste of my time. I was deep into that, judgment, and that way of thinking. And it's incredibly negative. It's not helping us to move forward. It's not helping us to feel good now or to move forward. So we got to rethink all of this. Okay. Now I believe that relationships end, right? Relationships end. They don't work out for a myriad of reasons, and they end. And it doesn't mean I'm an awful person. It doesn't mean my partner's an awful person. How about this? Let me give you this to think about. Sometimes healthy relationships end. Sometimes relationships that, seem to be going along pretty good, they end. And sometimes they should. Right? When we're in a relationship with someone and, nothing bad is happening, they're not mistreating us, nothing really bad is happening, but truth be told, nothing really good is happening either. Or, no growth is happening. Like, we're not growing, we're not becoming our better self. The other person isn't growing. It's kind of ambivalent. And I was reading a study the other day that said that about half of the people that are in relationships or in marriages are in this very ambivalent state, right? They don't feel great, but they don't feel bad. And they stay in that. That's what's insane to me. These people stay in that. Some of them for 30, 40, 50 years. They never get out of that relationship. That it's not good, but it's also not bad or not awful. So I don't know if you're like me, where I don't want an ambivalent relationship. I don't want a relationship that's just, it exists. I want it to be heck yes. I want to be 1,000%, man, my relationship's amazing. Does it have struggles? Sure. Is my partner perfect? No. He's got his stuff. I got my stuff. And we're constantly just showing up every day. We're working on our stuff. We're growing. We're learning. We're growing together. We're constantly just showing up. And that's the relationship that I want. It is not perfect. I try to have more realistic standards now for relationships. I understand more now than ever that my partner is not going to meet all of my emotional needs. How about that one? And, I came to a lot of this understanding as I grew and matured, and became a grown woman and a mature grown woman. Like now I figured out my romantic partner can't meet all of my emotional needs. There is only one emotional need that I have that only my romantic partner can meet, and that is sexual. So outside of that, there are lots of other ways that I can get my emotional needs met by people and things and, things that I'm doing or my pets, outside of my partner. My partner is not the only person that, was put on the planet to meet my emotional needs. Okay, so back to relationships ending. All right. So yes, healthy relationships end. I believe that the last relationship that I was in was, for the most part, it was healthy. Like 80-90% of the time, nothing bad was happening. Like nothing bad was happening. I wasn't mistreated. I wasn't abused. I wasn't neglected. It was the very definition of ambivalent. It had reached this state where it was ambivalent. He was ambivalent. We weren't growing. We weren't moving forward. The relationship wasn't moving forward. It just was. And yeah, we did things together and we talked on the phone and we saw each other and, we knew each other's families and friends. And like I said, we did things together, but there was no growth there. There was no growth on his part, and there was really no growth in the relationship. The relationship had stalled, and it stayed there for about 2 years. About 2 years. I should have pulled the plug 2 years sooner, and I did attempt to do that. And again, because nothing bad was happening, I hung in there. I came back and just hung in there and said, okay, maybe there's something else I should be doing or not doing. I don't know. But then after 4 years, I realized, you know what? Even healthy relationships, where nothing bad is happening, the person's not mistreating me, they're not a bad person. Like, this should end. This should end because we're not growing. We're not learning. We're not moving in any, one direction or same direction. For me, it was about, making that deeper commitment leading to marriage. And for him, it was about, things are good right here. I'm getting everything I need right here. Like, all my needs are being met right here. I don't need to move any closer to marriage. I don't need to move any closer to sharing a life where we live together and share bills and share a home. Like, I'm good, right? And that wasn't okay for me. And so that relationship ended. It did not fail. It definitely ran its course. It ended. We wanted different things, clearly. And as clear as I was about saying what it was I wanted and where I believed that relationship or any relationship I'm in should end or land, I don't know. Maybe I wasn't clear enough. But that's not where he was. That's not where he wanted to go. He said that's where he wanted to go, but that's not where we went. So yeah, sometimes relationships end. And here's the other thing I want to tell you that I see a lot, and I see men and women doing this. So men and women, because when they're in these kind of ambivalent relationships where, nothing technically bad is happening, but they gotta make the other person the bad guy, right? It's almost like it's this weird, and I've done it, I have done it, man. I have fueled a breakup based on just, hating a person. And I realize now why I did that, because I wanted to make that other person the bad guy. I wanted to fuel the breakup with all this hate in my heart because I thought it was going to keep me from feeling sad, feeling hurt, feeling disappointed. Like if the primary emotion I was feeling was hate, was just pure hatred, it was going to keep me from feeling all those other emotions. And we do this. We will make the other person the bad guy. We will, tell ego stories about the other person. And most of the time, that's not true. The two of you ran your course. You didn't want the same thing. Neither one of you are bad or wrong for what you want. My ex is not wrong for not wanting to be married. He's not wrong. He's just not for me. He's just not my husband. He's just not someone I want to keep dating because that's what I want. And he's not wrong for not wanting that. But again, we shouldn't be dating each other because we want very different things. So, yeah. But we make the other person the bad guy. We tell these evil ego stories about them or about the situation we were in. And 9 times out of 10, the situation we were in, it wasn't crazy. It wasn't anything horrific. You know, this person just doesn't want what you want. That's it. Okay. And it's going to hurt. Like, one of the things I've realized now is it hurts. Breakups hurt, especially when you're attached to a person, when you like the person, when you all did have good times. There were a lot of ways that you all were a good fit. And you're like, dang, you know, that's my primary emotion when I liked the person and I felt like, you know, we were good together. I felt like, you know, we had a friendship and we were good together. My primary emotion is, darn, really? Really? Like, so we don't want the same thing. We're not going in the same direction. It's really just this overwhelming disappointment. And I just wished I could have come to that sooner, like to that place where I finally realized, okay, we don't want the same thing, or we're not going in the same direction, or one or both of us is not capable of meeting the other person at that need they have. I just wish I'd come to it sooner. So yeah, you're not gonna save yourself the hurt, the pain. I tell my counseling clients all the time, when I see couples come in, and I can see it. I can see couples that have no business being together. They're not good for each other. They're not a good fit. Trying harder is not going to do anything but frustrate the heck out of you. Leave it alone. And I'm talking, pull out the sharpest knife you got. It's like slicing your arm off, but it's a clean slice. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. And then you're going to do everything you need to do to tend to that wound. That wound will stop bleeding. It will eventually stop hurting. It will eventually heal. It will eventually, you know, it will be fine. But stop. You're just dragging this thing out. I've had some couples where they just drag it out, and then it gets worse and worse, and then the treatment gets worse and worse. So you can drag out, and this is where we got to be careful about the healthy relationship that should end, right? We're dragging it out, and it then becomes unhealthy. Somebody starts resenting somebody. That happened in my situation. And then that's when I woke up to, wow, this is going to get ugly. And there was a few little ugly things in there. I mean, it didn't get crazy, but there were a few little ugly, you know, conversations that we had, okay, that I thought to myself, man, this should have ended 2 years ago, because somebody's going to get resentful. Somebody's going to get angry. Somebody's going to feel hurt. You know, somebody's going to act, and then they're going to act out of that. So yeah, sometimes even good, healthy relationships have to end because someone's needs not being met. Someone's needs are not being met. And we got to own that. We got to be honest with ourselves and say, you know what? This has got to end. And then you have the unhealthy relationships, the toxic, dysfunctional relationships that, what are you doing? What are you doing? Again, why are you staying in this? Why are you continuing on and on and on with this relationship? Everybody around you can see it's toxic. It's the attachment. It's the trauma bond. It's the, oh, it's going to hurt and I don't want to do the hard thing. I want to separate from the person and not miss them and not feel lonely and not feel pain. That's not the world we live in. And was it Socrates that said, you know, pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. So when you choose to drag this thing out, you're choosing to suffer. But pain is inevitable. It's in everything. So maturity requires that you just suck it up and end it. That's how you know you're growing up. Stop staying a kid and trying to do everything the easy way and to avoid pain, to avoid what's hard. No, just do it. Find the sharpest knife in your drawer and cut that thing off. Period. And then get on that road to healing. Get on that road to finding the person who is the best fit for you. And that person is out there. Many people are out there. How about that? Many people that could be the best fit for you are out there. And you're putting all your time on someone who clearly isn't. And you're all your time, all your energy, all your effort on someone that no matter how hard, no matter what you do, no matter how much counseling you do, it's not gonna work for you. That person is not the best fit for you. You gotta come to understand that and let it go. And it's not gonna be easy. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard, but it has to be done. So there are some of you who are in relationships that they may be healthy. Nothing bad is happening. Nobody's being mistreated, but they should end. And y'all know it. You're at a space where nothing good is happening. Nothing bad is happening, but nothing good is happening either. You're not passionate about that person. You're not in love with that person anymore. You're comfortable. You're comfortable, but you're not in love with that person. That person is not, taking you to the moon and back. You're not, It should end. And then those of you that are in the toxic, dysfunctional, unhealthy relationships, y'all should have been out of that probably 6 months in, long ago. So do the hard thing and cut that thing off. Go through that process of healing and growing. Because remember, when we're hurting, we're growing. We're growing. We're learning. We should be. And if you're not, okay, that's a whole nother story. So do the hard thing. And yeah, relationships end. All relationships end. There's something for you. All of our relationships will one day end. When we die or other people die or for whatever reason, relationships end. And we have to normalize that. And we have to stop putting all this judgment on it or beating ourselves up or other people up. Okay, the relationship has ended. It's run its course, or something has happened that has caused the relationship to end, or it needs to end. That's it. I hope this hard talk was helpful today. And not all of them can be super inspiring. Not all of them, are going to be dessert. Sometimes I got to give you the vegetables. Sometimes I got to give you the meat. Okay? Because my intention is for you to grow. My intention is for you to mature as a woman and grow up and become your best self. And some of these talks that we have, they're necessary to help you grow. All right? Thank you so much for watching. And as always, stay open to love.